Awaken to the good and give thanks. This is a mantra that I recently heard through an Audible book that I found. If you know me, I'm like a nerd. I go down lots of like rabbit holes and tangents, but I was learning about a spiritual practice that I respect called Musar, and it's a Jewish tradition, and it led me to celebrate this week and really focus the attribute of gratitude. And so, in that energy, is where I'm coming to you today, is from that place of gratitude. So, um, I want to start though by talking about a book that I read a long time ago. I want to say it was probably 10 years ago, and it definitely changed my life. I think that gratitude, one of the most amazing things about gratitude is that it changes and it shifts. It has in an instant almost, it can shift our perspective. And it's a choice. It's something that we can control and that we can do in an instant. Whether we're in a moment of sadness, frustration, overwhelm, stopping and literally thinking, wait, there's good. There's good. Things could be worse. That shifts us. It shifts our complete everything. Scientifically, it produces endorphins, and it is a way that we can potentially take our power back or take our emotions back from something that has happened outside of our control. So the book is called Man's Search for Meaning, and it's Viktor Frankl. It's a profound classic book. He is a renowned psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor. And in his book, he shares about his harrowing experiences in the Nazi concentration camps, while at the same time unveiling his groundbreaking theory of something called logotherapy. That is the idea that our primary drive in life is not pleasure, as Freud suggested, but it is the pursuit of meaning. So it's not pleasure, but the pursuit of meaning. Drawing from that unimagined suffering, Frankel illustrates in his book how finding purpose, even in the darkest circumstances, can foster resilience, hope, and inner freedom, reminding us that while we can't control what's happening to us, we can choose our attitude, and in this case, gratitude toward it. This timeless book offers invaluable perspective on transforming your adversity into growth, making it honestly an essential read for anyone seeking deeper fulfillment. I actually had my son read this book this year over the summer because I just remember how impactful. So here are a couple of things that I wanted to share with you from the book, that from Viktor Frankl, his book. So number one, finding meaning in suffering enhances resilience and perspective. I actually led a workshop this past weekend with some beautiful women. And at one point, we were sharing perspectives, an experience from our life that was challenging and difficult, but how it has caused us to grow. And it was such a beautiful example. All I had to do was ask the question, and now all these women were sharing, man, and these are such difficult moments, but look how they changed us. And one of them remarked, it's as if we can know that the difficult things are meant for our good. Yes. So Victor emphasizes that in some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment we find a meaning to it, such as the meaning of a sacrifice. This idea reminds us that even in tough times, like the challenges that we've all been facing, whether it's in personal life, our economy, our own businesses, owning our own business, getting our business off the ground, or anything that we're going through, parenting, it shifts our focus to gratitude for what we've learned or have overcome. And that can transform pain into purpose, releasing all those feel good endorphins because it reframes all of those experiences, past and now maybe present, as positive. The next principle we can learn from this book is gratitude is a path to coping and happiness. Frankel writes that once an individual's search for a meaning is successful, It not only renders him happy, but also gives him the capability to cope with suffering. In our team context, in our tribe, in our community context, expressing gratitude daily, whether for having the next meal, whether having booked a new appointment or sold a particular product, anything. It's or simply just making it through a difficult day where things just didn't go our way. That helps us find meaning, boosting our mental health and endorphin levels as we build emotional strength together. The other thing that it does, number three, is it's accepting suffering as a part of life's wholeness. Frankl says suffering is an ineradicable part of life, even as fate and death. Without suffering and death, human life cannot be complete. This perspective encourages gratitude, not in spite of hardships, but because of them. They shape us. Think of my own journey. Many of you know that I went through breast cancer, 10 surgeries, 100 doctor's appointments, gratitude for small wins, and just a day, making it through a day kept me going. And science shows that this attitude lowers stress while elevating mood enhancing chemicals like endorphins. Number three, embracing suffering as a unique task. When a man finds that it is his destiny to suffer, he will have to accept his suffering as his task, his single and unique task. So this is your assignment, right? Your assignment is your life right now, the way it looks. If it involves suffering, then that's your destiny. Tie this to gratitude. Being thankful for that difficulty encourages us all to view obstacles as opportunities for our growth. Thanking the process builds our resilience. It improves our overall well being and it triggers that natural high from endorphins, making us more energized for success. Yeah. So you probably heard me say endorphins many times because it's important. Now, from the book, there's one more idea, and that's this. The overall idea from this book is that meaning includes suffering's role. So, Victor's core logotherapy teaches that if life has meaning, so does suffering, as it's inseparable from a full existence. I don't think I've ever met someone who has a great success story that literally can't point back to suffering or not great circumstances. Like, that is why we have great people among us. Practicing gratitude helps uncover that meaning. It reduces our anxiety and fosters a positive mindset. This will support our physical health. We'll have better sleep, better immunity all over from our body from those endorphins that it boosts. So, back to the idea of gratitude. What's interesting is that gratitude, it's just so powerful. It's going to strengthen the bond you have with those around you and boost morale. So if you are in a workplace, right? And you go to a 9 to 5, if you express gratitude and you notice just the smallest little thing that was done to help you, and you have an attitude of gratitude, and you're, oh my gosh, I'm so appreciative of you. I'm so thankful that you doing that made my life easier. It's same with our home. We can do the same thing with our children, with our spouses, with our neighbors, anyone that we have a connection with. Expressing thanks isn't just polite, it's a powerful way to build stronger relationships and create a positive environment wherever you have influence. And if you don't think you have influence, you do have influence. I always say you can either be the thermometer, which takes on, like a thermometer just tells you how warm or how cool a room is. All right, so you walk into work or you walk into your house at the end of the day, or you walk into a meeting on a board you serve, or any school environment that your child is involved in, church environment, you can be the thermometer and just read the room and do what everyone else is doing, or you can be the thermostat. And I tell my kids, you were chosen to be a thermostat. You were created. We all were created and designed to be influencers. and to be the thermostat that determines the temperature of that environment. But we have to show up. When we show up with gratitude, it creates warmth. When we acknowledge each other's smallest little efforts, it fosters trust, motivation, collaboration, making people feel valued and more committed. So, this year in December, I celebrate 22 years building a business. And I know that just a simple thank you to a client or a team member can boost everything. It goes such a long way. So the second reason that our gratitude is so important is it rewires your brain to think positively. You can't sit there and be complaining about things and be grateful at the same time. You have to, like the quote says, awaken to the good. That means you're actually paying attention to the good now. And your subconscious brain, if you get into a habit of paying attention to the good, you can't pay attention to the bad at the same time. So, gratitude activates reward centers in your brain. It creates positive feedback loop. It makes you more resilient when stress and negativity come about. As a life coach, I always emphasize it. It's like training a muscle. The more you do it, the more you awake to the good around you. And the more you see the good in your suffering, the more you see the good in other people's suffering, the easier it becomes to focus on the good. That will lead you to greater overall contentment and emotional well being. And guess what? When you feel amazing and you're radiating positive joy and energy, guess what? You will attract into your life more people like that. Number three, gratitude reduces stress and anxiety for better mental health. I've said this already, but it lowers stress hormones like cortisol, helping to lessen your anxiety and your depression symptoms. Studies show people who regularly express thanks report fewer anxious thoughts and a more positive mood. That is perfect for our role as beauty consultants, business owners, moms, wives, like where we juggle so much, we get to decide that attitude of gratitude. It will change our perspective. Okay, next, gratitude supports physical health and immunity. Did you know that gratitude can improve your heart health? It reduces chronic pain and it even boosts your immunity. Your body's ability to fight off disease gets stronger when you choose gratitude. Grateful people experience fewer headaches, better skin, and less stomach pain. Plus, it may even help with disease prevention. Think of gratitude as a free wellness boost alongside your self care routines. Our gratitude also enhances sleep and energy levels by focusing, especially at the end of the day, focusing to positives. Gratitude promotes better sleep quality, which means more energy and more focus during the day. If you've ever tossed and turned worrying about quotas or challenges or the bills or the kids or any other issue, try instead to end your day with gratitude. It can lead to deeper rest and sharper performance. Awaken to the good and give thanks. Two more. Gratitude will release endorphins and other feel good chemicals. There is some fun science behind this. Expressing gratitude triggers the release of endorphins. That's your body's natural painkiller and a mood elevator, along with not just endorphins, but dopamine. That is a reward chemical, and serotonin, happiness and calm chemical, and oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Oh my gosh, it's like a four in one. Gratitude gives you four of those things. It's a chemical cocktail, not only making you feel euphoric in the moment, but also reducing pain sensitivity and builds your long term resilience. It's a natural high that can keep you motivated, but it is not going to come naturally. The world around you is not promoting attitude of gratitude. Okay. So you've got to choose wisely who you're connected to, what you're listening to, and what they're focusing on. I have been taking my son to the gym ever since June. And even if I can't hear the news, I can see stories that I was not exposed to before June. And I'm tell you that even though I'm at the gym doing good for my body, I have been purposefully not watching the show, not watching the TV, like really trying to either close my eyes or focus on something else in the room because the news wants to bring only negative stories to light because that shock and awe makes people addicted to their channel. And I'm like, I don't need that in my space. I don't need that in my awareness. Lastly, long-term benefits for happiness and longevity. When we choose gratitude, gratitude will enhance life satisfaction, counteracts burnout, and may even extend your lifespan by promoting healthier habits and relationships. As we head into this next season, Thanksgiving and beyond, into the holidays and New Year's, I want us to commit to making it a habit to share daily something that you're grateful for or someone that you're grateful for. So, a couple of questions that might help you with that is number one, think of someone who's impacted your life, influenced your life in some way. It could have been a teacher, a coach, a mentor, um, anyone that wasn't related to you, that didn't really have any obligation to pour into you, but did. And it could be someone you hired. When I heard this question yesterday, I thought of my coach that I hired. I paid a big to hire him, but his ideas and the time that we worked together has forever changed my life, not just my existence. I told him, you changed my existence because when someone causes you to think differently and to end things that cause resentment or fear or anger, it does change your entire existence. So maybe today gratitude would look like writing a note, right? Writing a heartfelt thank you note to someone. Maybe it is sitting down and thinking, like, I know some of us have mommy issues, daddy issues, like that we have childhoods that I don't think I've ever met a woman or a man, honestly, through dating or through mentoring and coaching. I have yet to meet a person that is like, my childhood was perfect. It was amazing. There's nothing my parents could have done better. Like it's very rare. I should say I am thinking of one person that did say that. But what I'm saying is that we can sit and we can think, okay, true. But if I had not had that particular childhood with those, if I wasn't born in that city around those types of people in that community with that mom and that dad or a lack thereof, I truly could not have evolved into the human being I am today with the priorities and with the thoughts and the mentalities and even the personalities and the strengths and the weakness. Because if it was not good, guess what it taught you? Resilience. If it was difficult, my childhood involved a lot of good and some difficult. And for the longest time, all I could see was the bad. And recently, I've just been more and more seeing the good. But like one of the challenges of my childhood was we moved a lot. By the time I was a junior in high school, I had been to 13 different schools. 13. And yeah, some people could be like, oh my gosh, your parents were terrible. They didn't want you to have like a secure system and a connections and a community and da 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 da. Okay, yes, we could say that. They're terrible. They weren't thinking about me and my growing up and da da da. Sure. At the same on the same note, because I had to do that and because I was exposed to that, it made me very strong. And it also made me very strong on my own, right? I had to disconnect from this friendship and move on to a new friendship and move on to a new friendship. And some of those friendships, I don't want to say they were shallow, they were friends. We had so much fun together, but they didn't go very deep because we were moving on to the next and moving on to the next, moving on. To the next. So what that created in me was a strong interdependence. Like I can do anything without someone else's help, without someone else's support. That makes me extremely different than a lot of other humans who were interconnected and very bonded and very grounded and so they honestly can't do something without all of those bonds and connections and supports. And that makes them, guess what, more committed to a community in a way that I wasn't, right? And so anyways, I'm not to say everyone's beautiful and unique in their own way. And so to close this message on gratitude, I want to express my gratitude to you. Especially if you made it through this whole video and you listened to this whole thing and you listened to me the whole time, that means that you are connected to me. You are part of my root system. Um, I was on a rabbit trail today, just gonna confess, and listening to another training on the topic of gratitude and this whole idea of Musar as this Jewish tradition on self-improvement, which is right up my alley. And this video, you guys, it educated me on trees. You know, we think of a tree and we think of everything we can see above the surface. We think of a tree, we think of the leaves, we think of the fruit, the acorns, the apples, maybe anything that grows on trees. We think of what we can see of the tree. But what I learned today is that there are certain species of trees that actually, well, all trees have a root system underneath the surface that we don't see. And there are some species of trees that have a very interconnected root system, and they actually communicate with each other. And they actually will take resources that they got, a big, huge tree that has access to sunlight above all the little seedlings and above all the other trees, this big, wise, beautiful, what they call mother tree has access to things that the little ones don't. And through this beautiful root system, she doesn't just take that for her own existence, but she has it so that she extends it out through her root system. I'm getting emotional to the other women, or the other trees in the forest, making it possible for nutrients and life and hope to spread out through those roots and be dispersed and dispensed to those trees that aren't at a place where they can have access to certain things that they need to survive. And it was just a beautiful, to me, example of how creation knows already what we need, that the way that that was built and connected. So if you're watching this, it's because you're connected, your roots. We're in the same forest and your roots are connected somehow to mine. Whether you are in my community as a friend, as a client, as a team member, maybe all of those things are true. Maybe as a family member. Um, I don't know. I just know that this message of gratitude, those connections through the root system, there are times that those roots that maybe I was giving nutrients to you that I had, and there are times that you were giving nutrients to me that you had, that interconnectedness and those roots have mattered over the years. And so I just want to say that I'm so thankful that we have a connection, whether it's small connection, whether it's a new connection, whether it's an old connection, whether it's a 45-year connection, that our connection, those root systems have produced so much in my life. I'm so grateful for all the lessons, for all the strength. No one ever arrives where they are alone. There is no person that is so isolated that they haven't come to their existence at this point that they're alone. And every single one of those connections, those pieces of our root system, we're gaining something. You can learn something good. So back to gratitude. Awaken to the good around you. Every single human being in your network, in your community, in your home, in your workplace, you can see the good in them and you can be grateful for them, even if they're difficult. Maybe God's using them to produce in you grace, patience, gratitude, compassion. You Did I say patience? That's a good one. Every person is valuable, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you and for the way that you've made my life better. Thanks for watching. I'll end with this: awaken to the good and give thanks.